Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hope all doing safe. Thanks for joining. Sorry for the late. Actually, we were struggling this go-to meeting. I was actually very new to this go-to meeting. Sorry for that. Yeah, I'm your instructor. My name is Rajshekhar. I have been into this infrastructure management for more than 8 years. I served multiple organizations. In my tenure, uh, like as a sysadmin, middleware admin, DevOps consultant, and like currently I'm working as a DevOps consultant for Siemens. I always like to explore everything that has to do something with cloud and DevOps. I really find very much interesting with it actually. I love to share my knowledge. Yep. So here I am. I'm glad to meet you guys. Yep. Let me open my deck. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Hope my screen is visible to everybody. With that, no, this one.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, how I just exit this one? The sidebar. Anybody any idea? Subu, you have any idea? Okay, I think let me just. How I just exit this one? Any have any idea? Okay, I think now it should be visible. Yeah. All right.
No rush.
Yeah, yeah.
No rush.
Now it is fine. Now it is fine. Absolutely fine. Yeah. In this today's session, now we are going to discuss a lot about the DevOps. Why we had to adopt this methodology and tools and its benefits, so on and so forth. Now, before we get into actual subject, we must understand the software development process a little bit. Else, understand the DevOps would be it would be a bit difficult actually, and that's what I feel. So I feel it is essential to make you understand a little bit about the software development process. Yeah. uh, so what is software development process? Any organization in any industry, you take any industry like car manufacturing company or airplane manufacturing company, or any software organization, anything you take, in any industry, one should follow a certain process, a development process they should follow. One should follow to develop their product, right? Which any product which goes to the customer. So this, in IT industry, we call it as a SDLC. The abbreviation is software development life cycle. Software is standard development process. To develop any software, one should follow that. Okay. So basically, what it basically consists. So it consists a detailed plan. How to develop, maintain the software. That they develop, right? And they can later they can enhance it. Yeah. So what it basically does, it actually gives you an opportunity, to enhance the product, the quality of the product. Now, so in IT industry, so one should follow this software development process to develop their software, right? So you develop any software, the software should adhere a standard architecture, okay, which is called three-tier architecture. uh, we call it as a three-tier architecture. So you develop any software, okay, that any you develop any software that should adhere a standard architecture. which is called 3-tier architecture. So what do you see here? This is actually SDLC, okay, software development life cycle. It actually consists of multiple phases, right? So there are 6 phases. Planning starts with planning, analysis, design, implementation, testing, and maintenance. All right. Uh, yeah. So this is 3-tier architecture. What you're saying, on my desktop, this is 3-tier architecture. So you would develop any software. So that adhere this 3-tier architecture, right? We got 3 layers here: presentation layer, application layer, database layer. So presentation layer is something which goes to the customer, right? So customer will actually see the output and gives his input. So that will be processed in the application layer. Your logic will be processed in the application layer. Then the data, then database layer comes. So where your actually the data is being stored, right, in the database layer. Yeah. So before we actually discuss about this DevOps methodology, we discuss about the traditional models in the software development process, right? So why, before the DevOps came into existence, so what traditional models the IT industries were using before this DevOps methodology has come into the picture. So I take actually two examples, the waterfall model and agile model. So what is waterfall model? Yeah, waterfall model is something is very very straightforward and linear. Okay, we which is exactly this waterfall model exactly replicates the software development life cycle itself. Okay, you see in the software development life cycle we got three 6 phases, right? Planning, analysis, design, implementation, testing, and maintenance. So if you look at the waterfall model, it exactly replicates the software development life cycle. So there will be, in one phase there will be requirements gatherings, and in another phase there will be design and implementation, verification, maintenance, right? So this is very straightforward model. um, you know it actually follows the top down approach. So you see in the diagram requirements, then once the requirement done, then it comes to design, then it comes to the implementation, then verification, then the maintenance. So what we what are the drawbacks with the waterfall model, right? So to understand the DevOps, we need to understand about what drawbacks we have with waterfall model, and what drawbacks we have with agile model, and any methodology that were used, right? That any traditional model that were being used before the DevOps come into the picture. Yeah. So with this waterfall model, what the drawback we have? The lack of visibility of the progress, right? There will be throwbacks between the teams. So requirement teams, they may delay. Okay, then once the requirements done, that comes to the design, then it comes to the implementation. So there may be a delay in the process, right? We don't know at what phase the delay is, the delay is there, right? Whether at requirement stage, at design state, or implementation stage, right? So there will be throwbacks between the teams. No, 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 it is actually a problem with the requirement. No, no, it is actually a problem with the design. So there is a delay with the implementation. So that kind of throwbacks will happen, the waterfall model, right? Yeah, same happens with agile model as well. But what actually developed from waterfall model to the agile model? So it just, there is one difference. Again, the agile model also replicates the SDLC process completely, but what has been developed from waterfall model to agile model is that instead of just developing the software at one go, they develop the software in iterations, right? Iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3. So they actually split their development process into the 3 phases. In iteration 1, they actually develop the prototype. So once, if in the middle the client comes and gives some other requirements, if the client wants to incorporate some changes, then they have a chance to incorporate that changes in the iteration 2. If any enhance, if client wants any enhancements, then that changes will be incorporated in iteration 3. All right. So you have an option to enhance your software, to enhance your product in the agile model. So which we have the drawback in the waterfall model, right? So there was some development, some progress, some development happened, between waterfall model to the agile model. So again we'll have the same drawbacks agile with agile model as well, compared to the waterfall model, right? So again it is very difficult to predict time. So we don't know, the iteration one you plan it, you actually plan it in a sprint model, right? In it, you actually dedicate some 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or 20 days or 25 days for the sprint one, then sprint two, then sprint three. It goes on, goes on and on. Yeah. So having discussed about waterfall model and agile model, so what actually drawbacks we have with the development process and operations between the operations team, right? So you see in the picture, at one side there is a development team, and the other side there is a operations team, right? So there is a wall. So basically with the waterfall model and the agile model, they will have a confusion, right, between the teams. So once the development done, then it comes to the design. Once the design and development done, then it comes to the testing. So there are different teams sitting somewhere, so once the development done, then it goes to the different team, testing team, right? So we don't know. So there is no collaboration at all between the teams. So there is a completely, there is a wall of confusion between the teams with the waterfall model and agile model. So what we are going to achieve with the DevOps? So whatever the drawbacks we are finding with the traditional models, which are waterfall model or agile model, so we are going to you know achieve them actually with the DevOps. We are going to overcome them. So, if you see the problem in a nutshell, all we want is an application, right? A product, a software in IT industry. Now,
Shikhar,
yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
Uh,
yes, please.
Sorry to interrupt you. I have a question. Hello. In agile method, why we are doing software development in three iterations? Is it not being developed in one iteration, or we are developing a software in chunks
No, it is not that way.
in
See, I
agile?
was, yeah, that's a good question. See, after waterfall model, I mean, people, started using this. There is a model. There is an model named called agile model. So what happens in agile model? Let's say, yeah, our agenda is to develop a software, right? So what happens in agile model? They actually divide the entire software development in iterations, right? In iteration one, iteration two, iteration three. In iteration one, so they develop the prototype. For example, uh, they develop the prototype complete. They develop the prototype of the software, right? The complete software they develop. But after the iteration one done, they
Hmm.
might be, client may
Hmm.
give you some new requirement, right? Client may expect some enhancements to the software. Then what comes, your leadership team will gather the
In
requirement
between the
again.
development.
Yes, exactly, in between the development, when the sprint is going on, so you might receive another
Hmm.
enhancement, another requirements from client itself, right? Then in another iteration, your leadership may include that, may incorporate that changes in the iteration too, so that you have a chance to develop, right? So with the waterfall model, what's happened, you develop the complete software and you give it to the client. So what happens, because you never got a chance, to test it
Hmm.
all right with the team. So you may end up with a lot of issues after giving it to the customer. So that drawback is actually mitigating at the agile model. Is it clear? To the somewhat, to some extent, it is,
Okay.
they're able to mitigate it, but not
Okay. Yeah.
not fully. Okay, to some extent they were able to mitigate it
Hmm.
with the agile model. So again we have the drawbacks. Whatever we are having with the waterfall model, the same drawbacks were carry forward to the agile model also, but to some extent they were able to mitigate it. So that's the basic fundamental behind the agile model. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, you're free to
Oh,
interrupt me and stop me if I'm going a bit faster, or if there are any questions. Yeah, all right. uh, Yeah, to put the problem in a nutshell, all we want is an application, a software, right? A product that you want to develop. In IT industry, once your software is ready, once your whatever the application or microservice, once it is ready, you want to put that onto the server to become a service, correct? You definitely need infrastructure to put your, to deploy your application, to make it up and running, to make that serve, right? So delivering a service from inception to its users, it's a too complicating process with the agile model and the waterfall model. But with DevOps, we are actually, overcome all these issues. I'm going to explain that in coming slides. So what happens basically, once your software went into the infrastructure, right, a production environment, then your testers are, your clients will come up and say that no, no, actually this is not, we expected it, this is not functioning. So these kind of issues will come back on and on. So that's the drawback we were having with the traditional models. Defects released into the production, causing outage, inability to diagnose the production issues quickly, right? So at the time of development process, when you are developing the software, you actually didn't, there was no platform at all to easily recognize your issue. So developer might, develop some, put some defect, some bug into the code that actually went into the environment. So testers might detect it and might not detect it, right? We don't know. So that bug directly goes to the production itself. Then client may detect it and come back to the, your leadership team, no, 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 saying that there is some issue. So these kind of issues we are going to mitigate it, completely overcome it with the DevOps. Okay, problems appear in some environments only in middle. We don't know in which environment, whether it's a dev or stage or testing or UAT or anywhere, anytime it comes, we don't know. So they'll be actually, throwbacks. No, no, this is a problem with the development team. They actually developed the wrong code. They actually put the bug and they put into the, production. This is actually all of the development team. Then development will come back and say that no, no, this is a problem with the testers. Testers should actually test it properly. So if testers test it properly, then it won't go to the production. So this kind of throwbacks will come right in between the development process, once it went to the production. So this blame game always will happen with the teams, because there are different teams. They don't know, there is no collaboration at all. What's happening with the development team, what's happening with the testing, but they don't know. They actually don't know what's happening with the operations. They actually don't know. So there is no collaboration at all between the teams. Then there will be long delays as well, right, between the teams. So development may, say if sprint is planned for 15 days, development team may delay it. We don't know. May testing team may delay it. So this kind of problems will have still with the agile model. Yeah, I hope, I think that makes sense. What are the traditional models, why, how the organizations, were using it, right? So if there are any questions, I'm ready to answer. I'm just, giving a pause for 2 or 3 minutes, because it is very essential to, understand the traditional models, why the traditional models, exist, what models were, being used before DevOps come into the picture. Yeah,
Yeah, Shankar, it's clear for me now. Yeah.
yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, I'm taking that. No questions. I appreciate that. Yeah, what is DevOps? Now you understood the traditional models, the waterfall model, agile model. What are the drawbacks you are having with these models, right? So, what is DevOps? Yeah. So many people, might have considered as a name, or it's a, it's something, a software or something, blah blah blah, I don't know. Yeah, now you just remove, you know everything that you got about what is DevOps, right? Yeah. So DevOps is not a name, right? It's not a name at all. DevOps is actually a concept. It's actually a culture. It's a practice, it's a mindset, whatever you name it. So what it basically does, it provides communication, it provides integration, no, it provides collaboration between teams. You name any team, development team, testing team, design, or operations team, or anything, anything you name. You might get, five or six teams sitting out there who are working for your, software development, right? So it makes collaboration between all the teams, no exception. So that's the basic fundamental behind the DevOps, right? Yeah, what benefits we are going to have, we discuss about that. But fundamental, the basic funda is the DevOps is a culture. It's a practice. It's might different organizations, use different tools. That comes secondary. Initially, what DevOps makes is it makes a collaboration between all the teams which are supposed to be involved in your development process, right? Yeah. Here you see the DevOps life cycle. You know what phases you see in SDLC, software development life cycle. Let me just go back. So here you see the software development life cycle. It has 6 phases, right from planning to the maintenance, right from planning to the operations, right? So in development life cycle of DevOps, you see the different phases. Yeah, starts with development, then comes to the integration, then testing, monitoring, feedback, deployment, operation. What you're seeing here, there is a continuous feedback, there is a continuous integration, continuous testing, continuous monitoring, all arrow, right? Once testing done, it is going to the monitoring. Once monitoring done, it is going to the feedback. Once feedback, the feedback, the continuous feedback going to the all, it is traversing across all the teams. It is continuous. There is no end at all between the teams. Do you observe that? Whereas in software development cycle, you see here, it's just a phases. We don't know what's happening between the teams. See, the waterfall model, you are not seeing anything flowing between the teams. Here in the agile model as well. So with DevOps, what we are going to achieve mainly is that everything is continuous, round and round and round and round, right? Everything is continuous. There is no break. So that is what we are going to achieve with the DevOps. Everything is continuous. Continuous testing, continuous monitoring, continuous integration, continuous development, continuous operations. Everything is continuous. See, continuous development, continuous integration, testing, everything is continuous. We are going to achieve with the DevOps. Yeah. You see, as I explained, DevOps is the bridge between the development and operations excellence. You see here, the developers and testers. Here it is IT operations. There are, you might, include more and more tools for development purpose and more tools for IT operations. At the end, all are included in a one cycle, which is called development life cycle of the DevOps. Yeah, DevOps adoption process. As you see here, there is a wall of confusion. There is a bridge between development and operations team. So what we are going to achieve with the DevOps is collaboration. If you adopt the DevOps, you are going to achieve the collaboration between the teams. Everybody should work together, right? Yeah. what is very important here? The mindset. How you are going to develop your DevOps life cycle. That is individual call. It's a individual call of organization, right? It's organization level call. There are more and more tools available in the market. Basically, you need to have a mindset. You need to have a right tools. You need to have a roadmap. you know yep. Approach. It's organizations, consider, they choose different tools that are available in the market. It's completely individual call. It's completely organization call, which there are so many number of tools are available, right? So you can achieve one task, with a number of tools that are available in the market. It is not necessarily be one tool in the DevOps. That it's completely at the end of the day, it is individual call, organization call, right? Yeah. What you are going to get get rid of cultural barriers. Okay. Reduce the mundane tasks and automate. You are going to achieve all this. You are actually breaking the barriers between the teams. Yeah. Now comes to the very interesting picture. You see here in this diagram, you are seeing everything is continuous. There is arrow mark. There is no end at all. So there are actually the phases. You see the code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, monitor, plan, blah blah blah. There are so many phases. So for each phase, there are, the respective tools are just aligned, right? For code, you see Eclipse, Git, Jira. For build, you see Maven, Gradle, right? For testing, you see Jenkins, and for monitoring, you see Negios, Splunk. For operations, you see different tools you're seeing, right? Yeah. For now, just what you are seeing in the diagram is everything is continuous. So coming to the DevOps life cycle, you are seeing whatever you're seeing here, that just goes to the real implementation, right? You see here you are seeing tools. Here you are seeing the diagram. The development life cycle diagram, you're seeing everything is continuous with the phases. Here you are seeing everything is continuous with the tools in the structure. Yeah. Before anything, I go deep uh, on this DevOps. Any questions so far here?
Y-
Because it is very important to understand
Yeah,
this.
Shikhar.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. My question is, in a company, do there are different teams for these each and every tool, or only one person will be handling all these tools?
It is not that way. Um, See, code phase is different, right? Code is different. Respect to the code phase, people use, developers use different tools. One use Eclipse, another one is Eclipse J, right? Another one is some, what do you call, Visual Studio Code. It's developer choice. So you don't have a control on what developers are using. So build tool again, if it is
Mhm.
Java, people have to choose Maven or Ant, right? Or Apache Ant
Mhm.
or Gradle. It again depends on what technology being used for the development, right?
Okay.
So one, you don't get a chance to
Okay. Suppose there is a
yeah.
software,
Yes, please.
and in that Git, Jenkins, and Maven is going to be used. So the people who are having expertise in Ansible and Nagios, so they will not be working in that project, or they will also be included in that.
No, I did not get your question. Can you just phrase it again and put me?
No, I'm asking, in a software development, for developing a software, all these tools are being used, or it's particularly for some software, for some softwares some of the tools will be used. So I'm asking whether is it necessary for us to have knowledge of all the tools, including in this
I
DevOps?
got your question. Let me put this way. So, if one wants to develop a product or an application or a software, okay, using DevOps, okay, one
Mm-hmm.
should follow
Mm-hmm.
this life cycle. Okay, it's individual choice
Okay.
which tool you are going to use for the respective phase. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
One may use
Okay.
Git, another
Uh,
may use Bitbucket, another may use
mm-hmm.
GitLab, another may use GitHub. It's individual choice. But for the code purpose, for
Uh,
developing the code, you need to use one Git, right? Or for building
mm-hmm.
it according to the code on
Okay.
which
So
language it
different
is being
different
developed. Yeah.
persons would be having a different person will be having expertise in different tools, right?
No,
That
forget
is
about. See,
you
I
want to
didn't
say,
get your.
right?
Forget about the tools for now.
Mm.
Okay. So if you want to develop any software,
Okay.
you need to follow this life cycle,
Mm-hmm.
development, the DevOps life cycle. Okay. So all these phases will be included in that
Mm-hmm.
life cycle. So it's individual choice, it's your choice which
Mm-hmm.
tools you are going to use for the respective phase, the respective, the code or build test
Okay.
or whatever. It's individual choice. One might be, aware of, or one might be expert in all the technologies. I mean, nobody knows that. If you want
Mm-hmm.
to learn everybody, all the technologies, you may learn. Okay, it is not necessary, right? I mean, developer
Mm-hmm.
might not come into the
Okay. Yeah, that's what.
testing phase. Developer might not come to the testing phase, right? Tester might not go to the code, or
Yeah.
code developers and
Mm.
testers will never come to the operations or monitoring. It is company's individual choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if somebody is there, who
Mm-hmm.
is expert in all the technologies, company may hire him and put in to do all the tasks. It's a different, that's a different question altogether.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions so far on it from other people?
Yeah, what is our role actually? If I select what is my role?
Our role. So, are you a infrastructure guy? Yeah, being an infrastructure guy, I think yes. I guess you are infrastructure guy. I understand. See, infrastructure role would be, you need to uh, set up an environment. Okay. So let's say you might need to touch all the phases that you are seeing here. You have to touch all the phases. Let me put this way. Okay. So planning phase, you forget about the planning phase. It might come from a leadership team. I don't know, somebody is there to sit, somebody sitting out there, for the doing for the collecting all the requirements and doing that stuff. Okay. So for the code purpose, what you need to do, you need to work on the Git. For example, you have GitLab available for that purpose, GitHub available for that purpose, and Bitbucket, so on and so forth, right? There are multiple tools available. I mean, uh, what do you call the Git servers? You need to set up that and give it to your developers, so they start putting their code into their Git repositories. Okay. And when it comes to the build, you need to work on Maven, and just the Maven, the scripts and all that, and then come to the testing. Some scripts will be developed by the testers itself, and some scripts, tests or something, some the scripts will be developed by developers itself sometimes. But touch the build code, when for setting up the Git, setting up the Git and the build, test, release. You need to, for the release and deploy, and for the operate and monitor. See, this is, you see the development process. So what is DevOps is a comprising of development operations team, right? So you see the mark, the blue mark here, that goes to the development phase. Then the orange color here, that goes to the operations phase, right? So once planning, coding, build, test done, then it comes to the operations phase, the release. Once it is released to the production, or the stage, or testing area environment, right? Then that need to be deployed. Then you need to taking care of the operations and monitoring it. Okay, so as an infrastructure guy, you might have a, you get a chance, or you might don't get a chance, touching all the phases, but more or less you supposed to touch, or you get a chance to touch build, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitor. Okay, forget about plan and code for the time being. Is that clear? Does it answer?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions? Any more questions, please?
In this course, are we going to learn all the yeah? In this course, are we going to learn all those things, or any particular things we are going to cover?
No, I did not get your question. Are we going to learn all the tools? You mean
No, it is yeah, yeah.
all the tools? Yeah, we learn
I mean,
a, a specific tool for a respective phase. Okay, you take Git, we learn GitLab or GitHub. Okay, and for the build phase, we learn Maven or Ant. Okay, for the testing, we learn JUnit or Selenium. And we there are multiple tools also need to be incorporated for this testing phase. We learn that as well. For the release, yes, Jenkins we are going to learn. For deployment, Ansible we are going to use for that purpose. And for operations, I will, New Relic or Nagios or one monitoring tool which is open source we are going to use. And then for the monitoring purpose we are going to use, the open source. Yeah, for every phase you are going to learn a technology, sorry, or a tool.
okay,
Does it
got
answer?
it.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Any more questions? No questions, I take. All right. Yep, you see here the DevOps SDLC is implemented, right? You might don't get it exactly. I mean, what's happening here, but you just have a look for the tools that you are going to use, or the tools that are going to be used. I'm sorry, just a moment. Yeah. So for each set dev, there are actually pipelines, dev pipeline, QA pipeline, and ERT pipeline, right? So you take one dev pipeline, what there is actually, the Jira is integrated, the source repository is GitHub here, right? And the Jenkins is being used, Jenkins is used, and the AWS, we discuss about this. For the timing, just ignore this one. The Maven is used, and JUnit, then SonarQube is integrated, then Tomcat is the server where your var is deployed, being deployed, right? And then Selenium for the functional testing, JMeter the performance testing, and blah 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 we're using. Okay. Yeah, you might don't understand it for now, but just have a look, in terms of tools. What were just a moment, I'm sorry for that. Yeah. So what we are going to get with the DevOps? What are the benefits of DevOps, right? You see here, comparing to the traditional models, uh, agile model or the waterfall model. So what we are going to achieve with the DevOps? All these we are going to achieve: high success rate and production deployments, high throughput, reliability. You can, because why you can rely your software or your product, because your software is going to be tested in n number of cycles, not in just one go, or you are going to test it, or not in one iteration you are going to test it, right? You are going to test it in n number of iterations. Your software will be tested in n number of iterations, so that you can expect a reliable software that can be released into the production, right? So high throughput you can expect, right? So less burnout, need to, so there is a continuous, as you see here, in this diagram, and as you see here, as you see here, there is a continuous feedback between all the teams. So once the development is done, that goes to the integration, that goes to testing. So if there is any issue, the integration, you immediately get your feedback back to the developer. If there is any issue at testing, you immediately get your feedback. If there is any issue, at monitoring, if the, and at any deployment, you take any phase. If you find some issue, your feedback, you will receive your feedback in within a minute, right? So that is how the DevOps lifecycle is being developed. So everything is within a minute. You push your code and you get your feedback. Okay, your code will actually going through the multiple phases, right? So there are very less chances you are going to release a buggy software to the production. So there is a faster code deployment lead time. So everything is faster, right? You get a feedback within a minute. So everything is faster here. More frequent code and deployments you can release in our platform. Faster main time. Everything is continuous. So this is very important. This is very important. Everything is continuous here. Everything is continuous. This here, everything is continuous. Continuous development, continuous integration, testing, delivery, deployment, monitoring, feedback. Everything is continuous. There is no break. Right from developing the code and push it to the repository till you deploy it. So everything is continuous. So these are the benefits you are going to achieve with the DevOps. Yeah. Before we going to the next slide, uh, any questions so far on DevOps? What is DevOps? Why we had to adopt the DevOps? What are the benefits and tools? Any questions so far? Because I'm going to the different subject now. Yeah, I take that. No questions. Yeah. See, what is cloud computing? Everybody knows, right? Nowadays, what is cloud computing? Yeah. What is cloud computing? Basically, you get your service through internet, right? You expect servers, you expect storage, you expect networking, expect software, expect anything in the IT industry. You get that, over internet. You don't need to, go and reach out some physical person or some physical office. You don't need to go. Everything is online. Everything is internet. So that's the cloud, right? What are the benefits of cloud? So there are so many benefits with the cloud. I just put them in a, just in three divisions: flexibility, efficiency, and strategic value. You go and search in the internet, you get n number of benefits with the cloud comparing to the on-premises environment, right? Yeah, you get flexibility mainly, and efficiency, and the value for your money, right? Scalability, storage options, control choices, security features. You get so many so many features with it. Users can scale services to fit their needs, you know and you can customize your applications, and you can access any of your software that you desire to access from anywhere in the world, right? There is no restriction. And the efficiency, strategic value, providing the most innovative technology available in the world. You can get it over the internet, right? And the flexibility, control choices you have. Organization can determine their level of control, you know to your service, and they can just monitor their employees what they are doing. And so everything is cloud now. Security, collaboration, and pay structure. Very important thing one should learn is pay structure, right? So you pay for only what you use. Right, let's say you use 1 GB data, you use 1 GB space, you pay only for 1 GB space, right? But when it comes to the on premises, you need to maintain the entire infrastructure, hardware cost. right? The power and everything, the infrastructure and everything you need to pay. But when it comes to the cloud, if you want to develop some software at this moment, you get your infrastructure in the next minute. So that's the flexibility we have with the cloud. So we have uh, so many vendors available in the market providing cloud services. As everybody know, the AWS is the leader in the market, right, in the cloud computing. And the next goes to the Azure, then GCP, Google Cloud Platform, so on and so forth. So let me just give you a basic idea how these services are available with the cloud, right? So you basically get your services um, from cloud in actually three formats basically. IaaS, infrastructure as service, you get, then PaaS, platform as service, then software as service. You see here with the on premises, you need to maintain everything, right from networking, storage, servers, virtualization, OS, middleware, runtime, data application, everything you need to maintain. Everything is your own responsibility. You have to take care of everything. When it comes to the IaaS, when we go for the when we choose cloud as infrastructure as a service, then you don't need to worry about networking, storage, servers, virtualization. Okay, you just need to worry about your application that data runtime. I'm sorry. Yeah, when it comes to the PaaS, platform as service, right? You don't need to worry about all this runtime, middleware, operating system. Everything will be taken care by your cloud provider. You only worry about your application and data. When it comes to the SaaS, you need to worry about nothing. You just need to worry about your idea. That's all. When it comes to the software as service, SaaS. Yeah, these are the cloud providers available in the market. These are the Amazon Web Service is the leader, and I'm sorry. Yeah, Amazon Web Service is the leader, and then next comes to the Azure. Then GCP, we got Alibaba, IBM Cloud, Rackspace, Navisit. There are so many available. You know, there are so many vendors available in the market. You can choose one according to whichever you like. Yeah. So this is just for your idea how this AWS management console looks like. Yeah. So basically, in this course, what we are going to discuss the DevOps. The main thing is DevOps, the complete life cycle. Okay, how this, because this is the very core, very fundamental to develop any software. So once you are through with this, the process, so you can just use any tool, whichever tool that you desire to use, right? And the cloud is the cloud comes secondary. So if you want to deploy any of your application to on premises, then you can just go with your on premises environment. But if you want to deploy that to any of the cloud, then you just go with any of this available services with the cloud. So these are the options, these are the benefits we get with cloud. Yeah, having that, I'm done. Any questions?
Yeah, Shekhar, are we going to learn AWS first or DevOps tools first?
But
Can you just give an
DevOps,
overview of the syllabus?
I
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
but you
okay.
see, DevOps is the very core. It's very fundamental. You need to learn DevOps. So if you don't know DevOps,
Mm-hmm.
what you are going to
Mm-hmm.
for what you are going to use cloud. So DevOps is the primary thing. So you will learn DevOps first.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Can you display the syllabus PDF that we had?
Right now, I don't have that with me. I think Subbu might have already shared it with you guys, or Subbu
Okay,
can
okay.
share that with you. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
according to that only we will be following that, right?
You no need to worry about that for the time being. Anyways, I am going to
Mm-hmm.
teach you
Mm-hmm.
in an order. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to just leave you
Uh-huh.
idle, right? I'm going to teach you
Yes, yes.
everything from the
Okay.
I
scratch.
will.
Yep.
And one more question. So we will be seeing the real-time scenarios in this
Yes, you are going to
course,
see.
right?
Yes, you are going to see.
Uh, so is there any name of the project that we are going to be working on?
uh I mean, for now, like, that is not very important, but they will learn that. Don't worry about that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why I'm asking this question is actually when we go for the interviews, the interviewer asks whether you have a hands-on experience or you have just knowledge on it. So what I want is after learning from this course, I should be able to answer them with confidence that I am having a hands-on experience with a project.
You should
So
be
are
able
we
to
going
answer
to do that?
confidently, and you should be able to develop the software confidently from this
Uh-huh.
course. That is for sure. That's a takeaway
Okay.
from the course. Okay. Don't worry
Okay.
about that part.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more questions? Yeah. Any more questions? It's already 9:07 p.m.
So in particularly one project, we will be implementing all the tools like Git, Jenkins, and AWS. So we will be knowing how to implement these in a project, right?
Exactly. Yes. You are going to learn.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Any more questions, please? Need to get some water.
What's the fees, please, for the AWS and DevOps together?
We'll talk about that. You can speak to Subbu on that part. Subbu, can you help?
Shekhar, do we have to create notes here, or we will be getting online PDF notes and recordings?
What do you mean by notes? You will be having your recordings.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Do we have to note down everything while
No,
for teaching, or
that's your choice,
we will
buddy.
be getting the recordings?
That's your choice, buddy. But you will get your records. Yeah,
Okay.
recordings.
Okay. Okay.
So you will get the session
And
record
after,
and
will
some.
you guys resume prepare as well?
Yeah, yes, you get.
Okay.
I think Subbu
Okay.
can give you more, clarity on that. How that is, going to be done. I'm not very pretty sure, but I
Can you
think
share
Subbu.
Subbu's contact number here?
Subbu, you there?
Yeah, Shekhar, I'm there.
One
Abhinit,
question
you can
for you.
directly.
Yeah.
So you can directly ping me. So even I can also ping you directly. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
I
Yeah.
think we can stop recording and we can
Yes. One more
further
minute.
questions.
Yeah, let it be there for one more minute. Then let's stop it. All right. Considering that there are no questions. Okay, we're stopping the session here. Thank you very much for joining. Bye.